Welcome back to the Fix Washington Podcast, a production of the House Republican Caucus. I'm your host, Peter Obarno, today, and I am in the 14th Legislative District with my good friend, State Representative Gloria Mendoza. We are in historic downtown Grandview, a beautiful site. Gloria, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. It's nice to have you at District. Well, first of all, welcome to District 14.
This is a beautiful city and a beautiful site. You work here, you live here. Tell us a little bit about Grandview.
This is my hometown. So I grew up in Grandview. I love Grandview. You are here right in front of one of our murals, which shows the train station, which is one of the first train stations here in the city of Grandview. But it's just a beautiful hometown to me. And I'm glad that you decided to come out to District.
Well, this would be a beautiful hometown for anybody.
Yes,
it is a beautiful drive, a beautiful piece of Washington state. But let's talk a little bit about the legislative session. So this was your first legislative session. You're a freshman, and you had the honor of giving the response to the State of the State, a response to Governor Bob Ferguson. Tell us a little bit about that experience.
Yes, well, that was a great experience. I was not expecting to, do the response, but it was an honor, of course. Coming into legislation, I did not expect that immediately because we all go in hoping that our name is remembered so that we could do some good things for our district. So I felt pretty confident that kind of put me out there. And so it's also a lot of responsibility because then you think, okay, well, I better get some good things done for our district because now, we've been, put in that position. I was disappointed, I will be honest, with the governor. Because his address was very encouraging. You remember sitting there and he said all the right things, and I was hopeful that he was going to follow through. And as we saw at the end of session, that almost nothing of what he said in his address was followed through with. And so a bit disappointed in the way that things turned out at the end.
Yeah, and so the governor came out with a State of the State address. He promised state agencies that would be customer service based, transparency, accountability. Do you think the governor followed through on those promises?
No, especially in the transparency and the accountability. He talked about being aware that there is an affordability crisis. And so I was, pleased to hear that he's aware that Washingtonians are struggling. And it turned out at the end that none of those concerns were addressed because you saw that we ended up with the largest tax increase in the history, not, in a few years, in the history of Washington.
Yeah, and so you're leaving your first session, you come back this summer. Not only did House Democrats pass the largest tax increase in state history, but a lot of those taxes are hitting the folks in your community. Gas taxes, child care facility taxes, healthcare facility taxes. What are they saying to you now that you're in your community back on the streets talking to these folks?
Yes. One of the biggest concerns before I got, to Olympia was the gas. Because here in District 14, it's a large district, but gas was already a problem because a lot of our families, they travel to work. They don't, get to pay a bus fare and the bus takes them. This is, most families will travel 40 miles to work and back. So you're looking at people traveling 80 miles or more a day just to get to work. And so, the gas prices going up 6 cents for gas, 12 cents for diesel is what we're hearing. We're also hearing just how expensive food was already and, how much more expensive it's about to get. And of course, childcare, we are in communities, District 14, most of our families still have 3 to 4 kids, which is wonderful. I'm huge on family. Most of our families still, are raising, kids. We have beautiful outdoor, parks that we could visit, but it's getting expensive for people to even go to a park and pick up food and take it, because they're saying, do we go out to eat, or do we buy food to get us through the week? So it's very very tough. So we're hearing just about the affordability issues, and we're also hearing just how tough it is to make money on work, because they get paid, and then by the end of that week, or the end of those weeks, they've already paid it out on bills. And so everything's gotten expensive.
Yeah, and you make a good point. I mean, gas prices are among the highest in the country. Grocery prices are, I think, the 4th highest in the nation, and that's before all these new taxes. Pretty regressive, hitting the folks who are trying to produce in your district for really, we were talking earlier about farming and all the commodities that your district produces, not only for your community, but the state and the world. Those people are having trouble getting by.
Absolutely. I've, since being back into district, I've visited apple orchards, berry orchards, hop fields. I've been out just talking to the farmers as well, because, I say that farmers and farm workers go hand in hand. One can't live without the other, and our farmers are struggling. They are struggling with all of the, just tax increases and regulations that we're imposing on them, and it hurts to hear that they struggle, just to get by with some of those regulations, and so now they're having to decide: do we hire more people, or do we go with this new, technology that's going to help us keep cost low? So it just so many conversations that I'm having, with constituents around, District 14 that have lost jobs because of the regulations that are imposed on some of these farms.
Yeah, and you had alluded to this. When you were mayor of Grandview, you cared about Grandview, and that was your main focus. I mean, you cared about everyone, but that was your main focus.
Absolutely.
And now they're representing the whole 14th. That's your main focus. And you're concerned that Olympia Democrats don't understand the east side of the mountains and don't understand the importance of making sure that your community stays healthy and employed. And that was one of your big focuses over the session.
Yes, any opportunity I get, District 14 is my priority. And so when I was mayor, I'm happy to say that many good things happened during my term, because I was, focused only in Grandview. Anywhere I went, it was Grandview is the place to be. District 14 is really the place to be. It includes Grandview, but we just have such a beautiful district. I've been driving around since, being back in district, from Klickitat all the way to Franklin County, which is, what we represent: Klickitat, Yakima, Benton, and Franklin. And the drives are beautiful. The orchards are amazing. Every time I look at, just the trees filled with fruit, it just reminds me how blessed we are in this district, and how important it is for, myself as their representative to tell the story. We need to continue to tell the story that this is a district that feeds the world. We have anything you can think of, we grow it here. We now go through some, farms in our area that are now growing watermelons. As a kid, it was unusual to see watermelon fields. Washington grows beautiful watermelon, by the way. My father loves watermelon, so he's been growing them since I was a kid. But it seems like the watermelons continue to get bigger and bigger, to the point where I now kid with my father that it's getting harder for him to lift them, because he's also getting a bit up there in age. But there's so many just wonderful gifts that we have in District 14 that my role is to make sure that we continue to protect that and protect the farmer so that they can continue to employ our constituents or the people of our district.
Yeah, well, you're talking about how special the 14th district is, and I don't disagree with you. But we're in Grandview right now, so if I am a visitor coming through town, what's the one thing you could recommend that I should see in Grandview?
Grandview is unique in the way that we're very family oriented here. You're going to find that we have colleges that you can get a 4-year degree here in Grandview. You go down the street to Yakima Valley Community College and get a 4-year degree in this little town. You could also get a certification to make wine. Yeah. We have a winemaking program also here on site. We have good food, of course. We have a lot of Mexican restaurants, but we now start seeing sushi. We now have Asian food here in our area. But you can walk around the city of Grandview, and this is the reason why I'm so just very tough on crime kind of gal, because I'm very fortunate that I get to walk around a community that is so safe. I've had people come and visit me and have left everything in their car. And I had a lady that ran out the door without, she forgot her laptop, and she remembered about half hour after we had been conversating, and she said, I left my laptop, ran out, and she said it was still there. Nice. And I thought, well, you could come to Grandview and we are, our families are able to walk around. And so I don't want to see, that, I don't want to lose that. And neither do most of our District 14 families. They want to feel safe.
Well, it's good to hear because, just being right now, recording this in downtown Grandview, you can look around and see so many family restaurants and family small businesses. So making sure we support those families. When you come into town, I mean, I did, you park right here and you can just walk in any one direction and find a cool family restaurant or a family small business. And that's unique to these historic downtowns. And you have to be so proud about what your community's doing.
And we're tough on graffiti as well. Yeah. In Grandview, graffiti goes up, the next day it goes down. Yeah. And so that's something that I would love to see throughout the state of Washington, because it shows people that we care. We care about each other enough that if business is graffitied, that the next day as a community we come together and we go and help that neighbor get that graffiti off. So I would love to spread that word throughout Washington, so that people can still feel like they can go around town and look at beautiful murals. As you could see, if we had a graffiti issue, this would not be as lovely as it is still.
Absolutely. And so are you hearing the same thing that a lot of folks are hearing, that they're concerned that there's a real soft on crime mentality coming out of Olympia from the House Democrats regarding choosing criminals over victims and moving a lot of these felonies down to gross misdemeanors and misdemeanors and letting people out? I mean, you don't want Grandview or the 14th District to turn into downtown Seattle.
Absolutely. And people don't realize that doesn't help even the families of the criminal that is being left out early. Right. It will impact everyone. And we've seen that these individuals go off and do something more horrific because they haven't learned the lesson. And so it used to be that you put people away so that it could be a punishment. You have to know how to get along in community. And so I'm very concerned about that, because raising a family is tough enough as it is, dealing with the affordability issues that we have today, and then having to worry that my children go off to school and you have criminals that have been left out early, that have not learned their lesson, go to a school and, kidnap a child, just horrific things that we hear every day. And so, yes, absolutely concerning to me. Again, I am very concerned about the increase of crime in those communities, because it's a matter of time before it gets to your community. And these people travel. They don't stay in Seattle. It's not like, you let them out and they stay in Seattle. These individuals are going to go try to find a community that is easy for them to hide away, and so I think it's important that we stand strong against those policies, and I intend to do that.
Yeah, that's good. And then shifting gears a little bit, I mean, you and your seatmate, Representative Mangeras, did very well through capital budget in providing some funding for your community projects. Do you want to talk about some of those?
Oh, that was probably the best part of coming home and being able to celebrate with recipients of the capital budget. Deb and I worked very well together. So very early on, we agreed that we were going to do things that really touched as many people as possible. So we did a lot of just to park, the city of Grandview received a splash pad funding. Sunnyside improving their pool, in their plaza, their Cinco de Mayo plaza. We awarded fixing, a bridge in Franklin County. And just, we decided to do also very important, I've shared that I am big on, protecting also, keeping communities safe. So we awarded Grandview Police Department. They want to start building a new police department, so we awarded the first $250,000 to that. We also awarded Toppenish new police department, and we were able to just do $69 million that came back to district. So that was just a blessing. Yeah. And we continue to celebrate, some of those projects. We've been out to meet with these individuals and communities, and so we're going to continue to celebrate. And that was the highlight of our first session.
Yeah, because it's important I would imagine, for your constituents to know that, although you're fighting against a lot of bad policies, you and Representative Mangeras were able to really secure a lot of funding, and you also fight for your community. You deliver projects that, whether it's infrastructure, policing, or even quality of life, you're bringing things back to your community to make it better.
Yes, and the good thing is that our community appreciates that, and we go to any community that we've been at, Mapton, Sunnyside, Benton City, and most people are happy to see that we have a connection in just about every community. I grew up here, but we depend on one another. We're so close in drive. So I drive to Franklin County even before I was representative all the time. So we really enjoy the people. We have the nicest, kindest people, and of course, because I grew up here, I have to say that, because I really enjoy the people of our district. But it's nice that we get guests like you that come in and can share good things about what you saw on your way to visit with me.
Well, we are state representatives work all year long, right? But January's coming pretty quick.
Yes.
And the new session's going to happen. There's a lot of talk about more tax increases. There's a lot of talk about more regulations. What's your message to your community about staying engaged with you and with all their legislators as you prepare for the January session?
Definitely stay engaged with your representative. Tell your story. I am now inviting people of District 14, come and see me in Olympia. Have the opportunity to meet other representatives across the aisle. You make up your own mind about the conversations that you have with those representatives. So come to Olympia. be my guest. I will give you a tour. I will invite you to sit, while, we're on the floor so that you could listen to the conversations. I always say, don't take my word for it. Come and see. I think we need to reverse course on some of these tax increases. So that's going to be my focus when I go back, is just saying District 14 cannot continue to live with all these tax increases and add to them, because now we have taxes that are kind of overlapping with one another. You got county taxes, and you got state taxes, and so we just keep adding tax over tax, and it's time to reverse course. That's what I'm telling people. We got to start taking it back, and I'm going to fight for that, and I hope that I can get other people to start seeing that it's necessary for us to do that.
Well, the 14th District and the state of Washington is lucky to have you fighting for them.
Thank you.
I want to thank you for being an amazing host here in Grandview in the 14th District, and I want to thank you for tuning in to the Fix Washington Podcast, a production of the House Republicans. If you want to learn more about Representative Mendoza, you can go to representativegloriamendoza.com. And if you want to learn more about our House Republican caucus priorities, go to houserepublicans.wa.gov. Thank you.
Fix Washington, a podcast from Washington House Republicans. Go to our website, houserepublicans.wa.gov. Find us on Facebook, X, Instagram, and YouTube.